Ladies and gentlemen, it's a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Starr, and we have today Professor Dan Fleetwood. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hi, Sasha. It's good to see you.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ken Regan will not be joining us today because his mother just passed away, and we were informed yesterday about that. And we would like to mourn this tragic loss for Ken, and hopefully we'll see him soon in the next few weeks. Okay, so let's now come to the chess. There are so many chess events all over the world. I think we can call it a golden age of chess because nothing of that magnitude ever happened in chess in the last 5,000 years, I guess. What do you think, Dan?
Oh, I think there's an awful lot going on. With the conclusion of the Rapid and the Blitz at the end of the year with Tata Steel coming up, and then the World Championship cycle kicking into high gear again. All kinds of stuff happening.
Well, I just tuned on TV just 15 minutes ago. There is a very interesting tournament that's European Ladies Rapid and Blitz Championships. And they have a beautiful transmission of the event with a very entertaining commentaries from none others than the I forgot her name. Her maiden name was Skripchenko, and now she lives in France, and she's now. I always, when I see her, I always think, oh, Skripchenko is here. But her real name now is completely different, and I forgot what was. Do you remember, Dan?
I know who you're talking about, but I'm blanking on it as well.
Yeah. Okay, it will come to me maybe a few minutes later. Okay, so that's going on too. And they just finished a very strong speed tournament, Blitz tournament in India, Tata Steel, where, believe it or not, but Anand, he was leading almost all tournament. He finished second. But at his age, he still remains one of the strongest players.
That's extraordinary. His ability to see the board and see the right continuation has always been otherworldly.
Yeah, he's a very, very special talent, and I think if it wouldn't be for Carlsen, he could be world champion for many, many more years.
It's very possible. He has, of course, a different style from Kasparov, but he had the same type of clear vision and the ability to perform over a long period of time as a Kasparov or a Karpov.
The Kasparov's play was based on immense work over the board, and even in preparation. He was the first one to use computers back in 90s to see all the and work on the home variations and so on. So it's very intensive way of playing, and he couldn't sustain it for much longer when he lost his crown to Kramnik in 2000. He left chess completely in 2005, but he was not old at all. He was just 41.
40, and when he lost his crown, he must have been 39 or 40, and then when he retired from serious chess, he wasn't even 45.
No, he was 41, maybe 42 maximum, because he was born in 1963. So in 2005, when he quit, he was say 42, no more than that.
That's a very young age.
It's very young. I think probably he is the only person younger than that was Robert Fischer.
Well, that's a special story for another time, and of course Paul Morphy.
Yeah, another story for another time. Yeah.
Each of them You know, as many sad aspects as more sad than happy at the end for sure.
Yeah, people with more positional, intuitive style, were actually playing very well in their late years. Talking about Lasker, Korchnoi, Smyslov.
Smyslov for sure. Smyslov was playing beautifully into his 70s.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. He was close to even play for a world championship. He lost
Yes.
final match to Kasparov. Uh,
Yeah,
very
very
close.
close.
Yeah. So something to say. Smyslov actually a very interesting chess player. If you look at his matches against Botvinnik, who was older but still in his prime, Smyslov held his own quite well, and it was fighting chess, not too many draws. Both played positional chess mostly, but they were also attacking very well. So I think it's underestimated the impact of these matches in chess history because Smyslov lost first match, he won second match and lost third one. So eventually Botvinnik has a small advantage. And then Botvinnik played two spectacular matches against Tal, where Tal was victorious and became youngest world champion. And then Botvinnik prepared very well to the second match and had absolutely incredible advantage. And supposedly Tal was sick and was not prepared to play that second match then. And even he had the medical opinion that he's not supposed to play at this particular time, but it was given to him by a Latvian chess committee. And Botvinnik demanded that he must produce the USSR chess committee, the same document. And because Botvinnik says he doesn't believe all this, whatever is produced in Latvian chess committee.
Yeah, that the second match between Botvinnik and Tal was a little bit sad to go through the games because Botvinnik was Botvinnik, but Tal was not really Tal in that match, and you could see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when his coach at the time, actually for a very long time, Alexander Koblenz, when he told Tal about this decision that he must produce the document signed by all Russian Soviet sport committee. You know what Tal replied to that? I'll win against. He used not a very good word for Botvinnik at the time, but I will kill him even if I'm half alive.
Well, it turns out Botvinnik is strong enough to handle Tal when Tal is not at his best. Very few people could handle Tal when he was at his best. Petrosian and Korchnoi, a few others.
Yeah, especially Korchnoi at the time. Tal had catastrophic score against Korchnoi. And what's interesting is that Tal, after losing to Botvinnik, he was still playing on a higher level, and he learned a lot about positional play, and he was not playing that risky chess anymore. And in the later years, he started to improve his score against Korchnoi.
Yes. In fact, Tal didn't become 2,700 until relatively late in his career, and he was playing mostly positionally then. But you didn't want to give him an opening to play sharply.
Well, you must admit that he learned a lot from Karpov because he was working with Karpov at the times. And I visited, believe it or not, the Tournament of Stars in Montreal in 1979.
Yeah, and wonderful event.
A fantastic event, and Tal and Karpov, they shared the first and second prize. And they were playing fantastic, both of them were playing great chess. It was a year after, actually less than a year after Baggio match against Tal against Korchnoi. So, of course, Korchnoi at that time, there was a boycott of his playing in top tournaments. And that boycott ended only when Soviets, they didn't want Kasparov to participate in that cycle for the World Championship. They're saying is that we already have a world champion, we don't need another one. So they they sort of dealt a situation where Korchnoi was giving a victory over Kasparov without even playing, through some manipulations and so on. So eventually they met. There was a very strong tournament in Yugoslavia at the time. I think it was the Bugojna super tournament. And there was a blitz after the tournament, and Korchnoi came to play blitz. Kasparov won the tournament and also played in blitz tournaments. And they had a talk. And Korchnoi told him that I'm sorry for my victory, but I don't mind to play a match against you. And then Kasparov approached Soviet authorities and so on, and through the political situation, it was a decision. They paid the penalty monies to FIDE, to Korchnoi, and so they finally agreed and they played the real match. And of course, although Korchnoi won first game, but Kasparov was already strong enough to win the match. And you know the history then. There were 5 matches with Karpov.
Right.
And there was supposed to be the 6th match, which never happened because for once, Karpov lost very unfortunate match against Short. And that eliminated Karpov from the cycle, and Short convinced Kasparov to play match for World Championship outside of FIDE. That happened, so Karpov became FIDE World Champion next year, and you know the history.
Yeah, so, that was a very strange time for chess, and I think some of the folks who went through that and went with the Professional Chess Players Association feel some regret, and others feel like that it was necessary to perhaps correct some of the problems that had arisen in FIDE. Of course, FIDE is always able to find new problems once they solve the old ones, because everything is continually changing.
All that led to Ilyumzhinov's organizing the World Championships in elimination system.
Yes.
So this was very unexpected decision. So instead of somehow have unifying match against Kasparov and probably Karpov, because Karpov was still a FIDE world champion.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one misfortune tournament. I think it was in Spain. Was it? It wasn't Linares. It was another very strong tournament, where Karpov scored -2 without single victory. And it was right during negotiations for the yet another match between Karpov and Kasparov.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that result, unfortunately, Kasparov admitted that there is very little interest in a chess between yet another match, because the result is almost obvious. And same thing happened when Shirov beat Kramnik, and there was supposed to be a match between Kasparov and Shirov. There was not enough interest to that match. And Kasparov, admittedly, Kasparov was one who is looking for financing while being a world champion. And he admitted that he couldn't raise more than $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And Shirov went for advice to Karpov. And Karpov told him, "Oh, you're laughing. The fund has to be at least $2.5 million. Tell Kasparov to try harder." So the result was there was no match. And then Kasparov lost match to Kramnik, who was not even qualified to play that match.
Right. Yeah, that whole situation kind of goes, takes you back to like when Rubenstein was trying to raise funds for a match against Lasker. So it was hearkening back to the early 20th century.
Right, but important difference. Rubinstein was a challenger, and he was
Yes,
to raise money. Here, Kasparov raising money and Shirov
exactly.
for consultations to Karpov. It's a laughable situation. At least,
Very, very true.
yeah, yeah. So much that probably was not supposed to be. Instead, he got Kramnik and was crushed by Kramnik without winning. It's only two matches in the World Championships where the world champion couldn't win even a single game. The first was, of course, Lasker Capablanca, and Capablanca
Hmm.
won
Yes.
4, and Lasker's not a single game. And second one was Kasparov against Kramnik.
Yeah, and the Kasparov-Kramnik match was quite strange. I remember very clearly, watching how Kramnik was playing the Berlin Wall
Yeah,
defense there, and thinking, what was it that we did not understand about the Berlin defense for 80 years that now suddenly becomes so clear, and that had to have been discoveries that were made. By not only Kramnik and his team, but working with computers there, because computers find that the Berlin leads to very early equality for black in all critical lines.
but there is another secret of that is I read the book by Bareev about this. Bareev was the second of Kramnik, and very interesting, very detailed book about every game and what's happened before the game, preparation, and so on. So what's interesting is that in the first games that he played Berlin, Kasparov had very good position and he was trying different things. He couldn't succeed. So the Bareev and other coaches they were asking Kramnik what opening to prepare for another black game against Kasparov. And Kramnik says, I don't need another opening. Let's play this one. It's so dangerous. Kasparov will find a decisive advantage and so on. Kramnik says, let me see what kind of advantage he will find. The secret
Yeah.
is that the resulting opening position was very good for Kramnik's style and just as bad for Kasparov's style because there was very little improvisational element. The position was becoming fixed without queens almost from the opening. And indeed, it was well. I think Kasparov decisively beat Kramnik in this opening in later, I think next year, in tournament in Almaty. But he couldn't prevail during the match. And there was advices to stop playing e4 altogether and just try and other openings that we know that Kasparov was playing d4, knight f3, and other closed systems. But Kasparov was furious that he cannot prevail in this opening. But this,
Yeah, because of course everyone knew that the Berlin was inferior and must be punished. But it turns out that in the Queen Exchange variation, it's very easy for black to get either static equality, or if white takes risks, then the dynamic positions can be quite good for black in that opening because of the bishop pair.
It would be interesting actually to look some of this World Championship games from previous years, because a lot of, especially probably younger people, never seen these games, and there is a lot to learn from these games and to discuss. Do we still have time to see one game?
Let's see if I could pull up maybe a game from the World Blitz. Let's see if I'm able to pull up a. Let's see. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So let me see if I can step through this. This is the. Let's see. This is the last game that clinched the title.
Oh,
and, And so I think it's instructive to kind of go through and take a look at basically how we got to the ending and how Carlsen used magic. But you can see here one of the things that impressed me about the quality of the play and the rapid of the blitz is in 3 minute with 2 second intervals. Carlsen is playing at 97% accuracy, and a lot of that is on increment, and that's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of step through quickly.
Okay.
So here we are in the Ruy Lopez, and instead of the Berlin, we go into.
Wait! I don't see any moves yet.
Let's see. Let's see if.
I see the board, but I don't see the moves.
Let me see if I can. Let's see. Because I'm seeing it move. Let's try this again.
Okay.
Can you see the position now?
No.
Still the opening?
No, I don't see anything.
All right. This is. I'll try one more time.
Okay.
Let me share screen. Does it show now?
Okay, I see the board.
All right. Now let's see if I can. Walk through. I'm trying to. So I'm seeing it, but I guess it's not showing.
Yeah, I see just the board.
Okay. Well, let's not maybe try. So that's the board?
No, I don't see the board yet.
Okay. Well, there seems to be a technical.
Now I see the board. Yeah.
You see the board?
Yeah, I see the board now.
But I think the difficulty is that when I try to step through, that it's not picking up the moves because I'm seeing the position change, and it's not showing in the screen. So I think probably it's because I don't have two displays. But this was I was trying to show the game with the so this is the game where Carlsen has 4 pawns against 3 on the king side and wins same color bishop endings, and then in another of the positions he has 3 pawns versus 3 pawns with knights, and he wins each basically 2 dead drawn endings, and those games to me just really impressed me in terms of Karpov. Not Karpov, Carlsen as a magician in the end game, even against the strongest players.
You know what's opinion of Kasparov about Carlsen? He said that Carlsen is a deadly combination of Karpov and Fischer, and it's extremely difficult to find combination like that.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah, he has precision of Karpov and yet a vision and attacking style of Fischer. Maybe he is not that great in the theoretical aspect of chess, although it's hardly to see how the best player in the world for the last 12 years that he's inferior in openings. I think it's misstatement.
Oh yeah, it's his yeah, he clearly is a master of the full game, and it's the ability that he has. So he kind of has the ability to see positions like Anand and to calculate like a Tal or a Kasparov when he's in peak form. And I think it's only when he kind of gets bored or loses interest or so that you see his results suffer.
I think he was particularly difficult opponent for Anand because they played 2 matches. And then, if you remember that both Karyakin and Caruana, they drew their matches against Carlsen. So, do you think that they were stronger than Anand when he was playing
I
Carlsen?
think they're different. I think both Karyakin and
Caruana.
Caruana are really good researchers in coming up with both openings and positions that they were able to play at extremely high levels. And in the end, it was just Carlsen's ability to win in the tiebreaks
Yeah,
that carried him to victory in those matches. And that's a criticism that that is often leveled at Carlsen, which I think is a little bit unfair because if you look at kind of the strength of the play, both by Karyakin and Caruana, there were not a lot of opportunities for Carlsen to exploit in those matches.
agree. But even if you would use old system when in case of draw, world champion retains the title, so then Carlsen would have retained his titles in both of these matches with Karyakin and Caruana, simply because he was a world champion. And I like that system because it immediately eliminates the question what to do in case of draw. Okay,
Yes.
draw, then world champion. Because for a challenger to become world champion, he has to prevail over the world champion. Because if he's only equal, it doesn't provide him with the title because he couldn't prevail. Same thing happened with when Botvinnik played Bronstein, and he played first match against Smyslov. The draw would mean that world champion retains the title. So
Right.
under this,
Yeah, which was a pity because Bronstein was certainly at least as strong as Botvinnik in the first match. And
Yeah.
Smyslov in 1953 was, I go through his games in the Zurich 1953 book.
Yeah.
And those games are just they're extraordinary. You could play those games today, and people would. I mean, the precision of those games was very, very high.
Well, judging from these 2 matches, but even following matches and match revanches, you could see that Botvinnik didn't have that superiority as a world champion over other top players. Same as later on Fischer would have incredible superiorities, at least for 3 years, 70, 71, 72. I think the domination that Fischer had at these 3 years is never seen in a chess before and after him. Kasparov was a dominating figure for about 20 years, but yet there were other strong players who could fight him and resist him.
Right.
Fischer, at these 3 years, he made absolutely impossible.
Well, Fischer, at his peak, played like someone who had trained with computers, and there wasn't really anyone at that time who could match him. Although up until the World Championship match, certainly Spassky had taken his measure relatively consistently. So
Yeah.
that was kind of his last hurdle. And once he cleared that hurdle, he was
Yeah,
well above the competition.
absolutely. Well, listen, we've covered a lot of interesting ground today, and I would like to thank you very much for today's program. And we'll see you in now 2 or even 3 weeks' time. So we will allow Ken to mourn his late mother. I will be on a vacation in Curacao for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll resume. Thank you
Yes.
so much, everybody.
Yes. Thank you, and enjoy your vacation.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.